Hello all, welcome to the Solidworks tutorials. In this video I am going to show you how to draw the flange coupling assembly using Solidworks. We have 5 parts: the flange, shaft, the bolt, nut and the key. So first I am going to draw the 5 parts separately, then I am going to assemble it. First we will start with the flange. So here I am going to draw a circle and I am going to extrude this to a height of 20 mm. Then in that surface I am going to draw another circle of diameter 90 mm and I am going to extrude this to a height of 75 minus 20, that is 55 mm. First open SolidWorks, click new, click part, select the right plane, click sketch, select circle and draw a circle of diameter 190 mm. So go to features, extrude this to a height of 20 mm. Now select this surface, click sketch, click Ctrl 8 to view it in the normal direction and draw a circle of height diameter 90 mm. Go to smart dimension and the diameter is 90 mm. Go to feature, extrude this to a height of, the overall height is 75 mm. So it is 75 minus 20, 55. So extrude this to a height of 55 mm. In the center we have a hole of diameter 45 mm. So select the surface, click sketch, draw a circle of diameter 45 mm. And go to features, click extrude cut to remove the material. So change the blind to up to surface and select this surface so that the material will be removed up to this surface. Okay. Now we have 4 holes at a pitch circle diameter of 140 mm and the hole diameter is 12 mm. So select the surface, click sketch. First draw a circle of 12 mm diameter. So the pitch circle dimension is 140 mm. So this distance is actually the radius. So it is 140 divided by 2. Okay. So locate this circle in the vertical line. So click Ctrl, click the center point and the origin and locate it in the vertical direction. So now the circle is fully constrained. Now I am going to pattern this circle. So go to circular sketch pattern. So this is the point about which we have to pattern. So click the origin point and in the entities select the circle. So it is automatically 4. So click OK. Now go to feature, extrude cut, change the blind to up to surface and select this surface. So now we have removed the material. Next we have to cut a key slot for an overall height of 49 mm. So actually the diameter is 45. So the key slot height is 49 minus 45, it is 4 mm and the width is 14 mm. So select the surface, click sketch, draw a rectangle of height 4 mm and width 14 mm. Now this point is coincide with this circumference of the circle, but here it is not coincide. So we have to make this point to lie on the circumference. So click Control, click the point and select the circle and make it as coincident. Now the rectangle is fully defined. Now go to Features, Extrude Cut, change the blind to up to surface and select this surface. Click OK. Now we have removed the material. Finally, we have to fillet the edges. So here all the fillets and rounds are given in a radius of 3 mm. So the fillet radius is 3 and we have to fillet these 3 regions. So go to fillet and change the radius to 3 mm. Select the edges. Click OK. So now we have completed the flange. So save this. Create a new folder and save it. The name is flange. Now close this. Next I am going to draw the shaft of radius 40 mm. So click New Part. Select the front plane. Draw a circle of diameter 45 mm. So here it is hatched, which means that the extrude length is not given. So roughly I am going to extrude this to a distance of 100 mm. Next we have to create a key slot of width 14 mm and the remaining distance is 40 mm. So draw a rectangle of width 14 mm and the remaining height. So from the center it is, so you can see the image. So the overall distance is 40 and from the center it is 40 minus the radius, that is 45 by 2. So it is 40 minus 22.5, that is 17.5. So the height from the center is 17.5. So draw a center line to this and make this center line vertical. Okay. So go to Features, Extrude Cut and select the surface to the next edge of the shaft. Now we have created the key slot. So next we have to chamfer the edges to a distance of 2 into 45 degree. So go to chamfer. The distance is 2 and the angle is 45. So select this edge. Click OK. Now save this. The file name is shaft. So close this. Next I am going to draw the taper key. So click New, a new part. So the key has a rectangular cross section of width 14 mm and height 9 mm. So select the front plane, draw a rectangle of width 14 mm and height 9 mm. So go to Features, Extrude Boss and extrude this to a distance of 80 mm, but here the taper angle is given. So the taper is 1:100. So it means that the angle is tan inverse of 1 divided by 100. Okay. So the length is 80 mm. So the extrude length is 80 mm and the taper angle is tan inverse of 1 by 100. It is 0.573. Click OK. Now save this. The name is key. So now you can close this file. Next I am going to draw the bolt. So the bolt is M12 bolt. So first I am going to draw this cylinder, then I am going to add a hexagon head. So click new. Select the front plane, click sketch. Draw a circle of diameter 12 mm since it is M12 bolt. Extrude this to a distance of 18 plus 34. So it is 52 mm. Now select the surface, click sketch and draw a hexagon. So the hexagon diameter is not given. For M12 bolt, the head diameter is 16 mm. So it is 16 mm. Click OK, go to feature, extrude this to a thickness of 8 mm. Now I am going to draw the thread. So here the thread distance is 18 mm. So to draw the thread, go to hole wizard, click thread. So select the edge and select the distance as 18 mm. So here my thread size is M12, of pitch roughly I am going to select 1.5. Okay. So trim with the start face and trim with the end face. Click OK. Now I have created the thread. So now save this. The name is bolt. So close the sketch. Finally I am going to draw the nut. So create a new part. So the nut diameter is same as the head diameter. So we have created a head diameter of 16 mm. So I am going to create the nut diameter as 16 mm and the inside hole of diameter 12 mm since the bolt size is M12. So go to, before that, so this hexagon is not fully defined. So select the point, select the center point and make it as horizontal. Now it is fully defined. So go to features, extrude boss and extrude this to a thickness of 10 mm. So now I am going to create the internal thread. So go to hole wizard, thread, select the edge and the thickness is 10 mm, or otherwise you can select up to selection and you can select the surface. So it is M12 into 1.5. So here we have to click extrude thread. So for bolt it is cut thread, for nut it is extrude thread, and select trim the start face and select trim with the end face. So now I have created the internal thread. So save this as nut. Now we have created all the parts. Now I am going to assemble this. Select assembly, create a new file. First I am going to insert the flange. So the first step is click float and mate the planes of the assembly with the planes of the first part. So mate the top with the top and the right plane of the assembly with the right plane of the flange. Fine. Now click insert components, open flange, rotate this about the y-axis. So click mate and select the two inner surface and make it as concentric. And select these two edges and make it as coincide. Then select mate and select these two surfaces and select coincide. So now you cannot move this flange. It means that it is fully defined. Now go to insert component, insert the shaft. So rotate this about y-axis. Go to mate, select the inner dia of the flange and outer dia of the shaft. And select these two edges. So to assemble this effectively, I am going to hide this component. So select this component and click hide. Now go to mate and select these two surfaces. Okay. Now click OK. Now to view the next flange, you can see here this is flange number 2. Right click on that and select show components. Now insert the shaft again. Rotate this about y-axis. Click mate. Select the inner dia of the flange and outer dia of the shaft and select concentric. Now select the two edges of the key slot. Then to insert this, I am going to hide the second flange, that is the first flange. So hide this. Then if you want, you can hide the shaft also. Now go to mate, select these two edges and make it as coincide. Click OK. Now you can view the shaft and the flange one. Okay. Now insert the bolt. So rotate this about the y-axis. Click mate. Select the inner dia of the bolt hole and the bolt. So here you have to lock the rotation. Click OK. So here the bolt head is inside the flange, so you can click the bolt and you can move this. Now go to mate. Select the surface and the flange surface. Now it is fixed with the flange surface. Click OK. Now we can pattern this. So go to circular pattern, select circular component pattern and select the components to pattern and select any one of the diameter. So here I have selected this diameter. So the angle between the components is 90 degree and I want to pattern 4 components. Okay, so the angle is 90 and the component is 4. So click OK. Now we have patterned this. So now I am going to insert the nut. select mate. So click the tree, select the bolt one and nut, and assemble the top plane of the bolt with the top plane of the nut. Then assemble the right plane of the bolt with the right plane of the nut. Okay, so the nut assembly is very important. Further, select the surface and select the nut surface and click coincide. So here we cannot directly select the surface and mate, so we have to select the plane and we have to mate this nut. Next I am going to pattern this. Select circular component pattern, select the components to pattern, and the direction, select any one of the diameter. So the angle is 90 degree and we have to pattern 4. Click OK. So finally I am going to insert the key. So rotate this about Y axis. So select mate, click the two bottom surfaces. Further, you cannot mate these two edges. So select this line and the surface and make it as coincident. Similarly, select this edge and the surface of the key and make it as coincide. Then insert the key again. Rotate this about Y axis. So select mate, select these two edges and click coincident. Then select this top edge and the surface and click coincident. Similarly, select the side edge and the surface and make it as coincident. Now this is the assembly of a flange coupling.